Now, in terms of Team Awesome.
Just sounds so good.
Right. I suddenly want something I learned just seconds before I existed. How do you find Team Awesome members? How do you find the person you know is going to execute, but also express like that radical candor?
Fit matters. I always joke with individuals that I'm interviewing. I was like, I see your talent, but can I get along with you? Because I live with my girlfriend, and I'm gonna spend more time with you than her. And they think it's a joke, but then they start working with us and they realize, oh my goodness, you weren't kidding. And so you have to be able to get along with people and work with people, because if there's tension or if the personalities don't fit, then it's going to create an environment where you don't want to be at work. And the best thing about Team Awesome is the drive that they have, that everybody really loves working there. Like every workplace is going to have its inefficiencies that stick out because you're in the weeds, right? No matter what job you have. Like, I've had a couple quote unquote dream jobs, and I could point out a handful of things that I didn't necessarily love about that. But if you say it to Uncle Joe and Aunt Mona, who don't know anything about a TV newsroom, it doesn't sound so bad, So you have to be able to let creative individuals be creative, B, enjoy the people you're working with, and when C, you don't necessarily love the moments that you're having with those individuals, where if you guys disagree or somebody's having a bad day, let it go. Like, it doesn't mean it needs to carry or override everything that you've built in that relationship, work dynamic wise or outside. Like, hey, people can disagree. Hey, people can have bad days. If you have 5 out of 7 bad days week in and week out, then maybe that's just your personality. But like, let's make sure that, hey, you have 1 bad day a week, no big deal. Like, hey, let's talk through it. Okay, this is what happened. This is why this happened in this particular fashion. Here was my thought process behind it. This is why the lack of communication made this situation get here. And are we okay? Because at the end of the day, you have to be okay. And if your team feels undervalued or overlooked, then it's going to cause a rift that potentially can't be solved. Mm-hmm. And so you have to make sure that you are humans every now and again. And that's one of my favorite sayings for Team Awesome is, go be a human. Like, work is work, like, we all love it and enjoy it, but at the same time, you've got families, you've got animals, you've got, I don't know, golf lessons or dance recitals, or you've got parent-teacher conference night. Like, go and do that. Like, be happy about it and leave work here. And as long as you treat people with respect and understanding that their lives are bigger than just that office, or then I think you're going to find you have better people that want to be around and a part of your group.
I think that's a huge misconception for like the generation just coming into the workforce, because we've hired, agency life, teams are always moving and switching, and we're always hiring. And, forming my team, there's this idea that you have to just be passionate about what you do. But what that means is that you're just always happy. You're just always like, this is the best thing ever. Every day, every minute of every day. And in my one-on-ones, I think the biggest myth buster for them is that I'll tell them, I don't enjoy this every minute of every day.
You can't.
I'd rather be eating bonbons. I'd rather be hanging out with puppies. I'd rather be independently wealthy. But since I choose something, like I'm going to choose this, and I'm going to choose this dynamic, and I'm going to choose you as my people. And if one of those is awry, then, you make fixes. But I think that's the biggest myth, is that passion means all the time.
Yeah, and everything's perfect always. It's not Pleasantville.
Yeah, like you shoot for the ideal, but I think that ideal is just a mirage.
Yeah, and I think it's also a part of our modern day society where on social media we happen to put out the best,
The highlight reel.
the highlights. It's the 2 minutes of look how glamorous everything is. And so when you look at a team like yours, I'm sure that when you're selling yourself to a prospective employer or prospective employee to join your team, you want to put out the best.
For sure.
Maybe that's the kind of aura that you've created. It's the same thing for us. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know, so maybe I didn't sleep well last night, and so I didn't have my normal dose of coffee didn't kick in.
I'm just hangry.
Yeah, like, people are human. Like, it just happens, and that's okay. But you don't want something like, I didn't get to eat until 2:00, so maybe I said something that was sarcastic, and it came off as not the most awesome sentiment to ruin, the next 3 days. Admit when you're a punk, and just go from there. But at the same time, like, you have to have people that want to be there and also fit personality wise. Like, your group should balance out the collective goal. What I've learned is you can't treat everybody the same. Everybody has their own quirks. You have to find out what a personality is of each member and kind of cater the way that you talk to that individual, or give them certain assignments. And I've learned a lot because I've been far from perfect, where sometimes I talk to somebody on the team and I go back to them like in a private moment and where it's just me and that individual. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. Like, I've made a mistake. I apologize. And it's been something that I've learned to admit right off the bat, and don't just assume that everything's okay. Sometimes there's a method to the madness, and sometimes you just messed up.
Yeah.
And so just be like, hey, I apologize. I really appreciate you as a part of this team, and I made a mistake. And you'll find that people who have desire to work and produce things, and we hold ourselves to such a high standard where we're at, that they're going to continue to strive to not only meet that standard but exceed it and continue to push it up. And that's the best thing about Team Awesome right now, is that they keep raising the bar. And I lucked out, really. Like, I could not have asked for a better team, and everybody's so self-driven and wanting to make the collective that much better that I've got really no complaints about Team Awesome, really, besides, the fact that they don't bring, like, cookies enough, somebody doesn't bring sweets all the time.
Oh my goodness.
I know, they're the worst, right?
Seriously.
I can barely stand them.
Well, now they know.
Yeah, I'll let them have it. Yeah.
There's one thing
I'm
you
just
can
going to
prove
send that portion, that little clip. Okay, come on, guys. Where's the sweets at?
You're Team Awesome-ish. The cookies would be the game changer.
The ish is the very, very important part. Ish.
Yes.